At second base, number
Hot
2,
and humid here
Ryan
from
Wynn.
Willie T. Barnett Baseball Field from Charlottesville High School.
At shortstop, number 3, Nick.
Hot and humid is the scene from Willie T. Barnett Baseball Field, live from Charlottesville High School between the Charlottesville Tom Sox and the Covington Lumberjacks. Both teams recently 6-4 in their last 10, but they are different.
In center field, number 9, Johnny.
But they are different. Last few, sorry, as we just had some technical difficulties, but here for this game between the Tom Sox and the Covington Lumberjacks, Mac Brum and Dylan Price. Dylan, after we got through those technical difficulties, both teams 6-4 in their last 10, but it's been Covington making way more noise than these Tom Sox. Tell me a little bit about both sides.
Covington is on an absolute hot streak, Matt, and fitting with the hot and humid weather. 6 straight wins for them. Carlos Castillo, the shortstop, batting third tonight. Shanar Brown, the right fielder from ULM, all a part of that offensive output that's helped pilot things. A couple newcomers for them as well. Sox have seen a couple newcomers make impacts. Well, it's really been a big impact for Covington, who have quickly shrunk their deficit within the South Division. They now sit in third place, 6.5 games back. As you and I were talking off air, they're firmly in the mix for a playoff spot, and that's a Lumberjacks team that has done a complete 180 since the last time the Sox saw them, when they also were victorious against the Sox. So a lot of momentum for the Lumberjacks and for the Tom Sox. You were on the scene for a marathon game the other night. Some much-needed time off yesterday, back in action tonight and trying to get another win.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Tom Sox did drop one the other night in Stanton, 11-10 in 11 innings. It was a game where the Tom Sox had a big offensive spark. They calmed down a little bit, tied the game up, and then they battled back and forth with the Braves. Unfortunately, the Braves did take that one. That was the home team, but this one should be a fun one tonight, as Dylan mentioned. The Lumberjacks are hot, 6-game winning streak. Their lineup leading off, Thomas Marsala, the second hole, Gregory Mello, Carlos Castillo in the 3-hole, Shanar Brown batting fourth, Caleb Henry, the 5-hole, Daniel Restrepo, the DH, batting 6th, Wilfred Gonzalez, the third baseman, batting 7th, Fabian Amaro, the catcher, behind the plate, and then the 9-hitter, Dario Castillo, on the mound for the Tom Sox. Palmer O'Byrne, as we're ready for the first pitch here from CHS. The first pitch is on the outside corner for a strike to Marsala.
6:59 p.m., so a little early even tonight, Matt. Always like that.
Started a little bit early the other night for these Tom Sox. In stand, and that one will be popped up on the infield. Ryan Wynn, the second baseman, as we'll set the defense in a second, will squeeze that one away for the first out. On the mound tonight for the Tom Sox, Palmer O'Byrne, 6'3" sophomore from Cutchogue, New York, State College of Florida, Manatee, Sarasota. Dylan, what's Palmer been looking like this summer?
Palmer has kind of been stretched out, Matt, due to needing him in the rotation. In the early part of his season, it was 2 innings, an inning here and there, but now he's started 3 straight games, 5 1/3, his longest, 3 his last time out, allowing 5 runs. All things considered, though, a 7.31 ERA that doesn't tell the whole story, with a 1-1 record to go in tandem with it.
Gregory Mello to step in now. First pitch outside for ball 1. We set the defense for your Tom Sox. O'Byrne on the mound, Levy behind the plate. Over at first, Caden Ferraro on the other side of that hot corner. Cooper Blauser, the 2 newcomers, middle infielders, Nick Parham at short, Ryan Wynn at second base, and the outfielders, Dean Mijos, Johnny Lopez back in the starting lineup, and Sam Mumma again back over in right field. 1-1 count as O'Byrne will step off and check his signs again for a second with Levy. Hot one here from CHS, 90 degrees first pitch. The 1-1 via ground ball. Parham will be under it. Throws over to first for the second out of the inning. Tom Sox need a big one here tonight. Losers of 1 in a row. Still at the top of the South Division at 20-8. The best team would be in the North right after them at 18-9, the Strasburg Express. Dylan, we still have a long summer of baseball left here.
Long summer ahead, and it's a tale of 2 sides, honestly, Matt. A tale of 2 6-4s. It's 6 of their last 10 for the Sox, which is kind of an anomaly for them to drop 4 games in that 10-game span. And on the other side of things, for the Lumberjacks, that's their best stretch of the season. So it's just been a matter of how things have been going. And for the Sox, things on a little bit of a downhill slide, trying to get the momentum back at home tonight and stymie this Lumberjacks offense that has been so hard to put out.
The Tom Sox, only 4 losses in their first 18 games, and in their last 10, another 4 for 8 total on the season. That second pitch outside for ball 2, 2-0 to the 3-hole hitter, Carlos Castillo, the shortstop tonight for the Lumberjacks. O'Byrne from the delivery gets the curveball in there for a strike. It'd be 2-1.
That was a big strike, man. He tried off speed 2 pitches ago, had to go back to fastball inside to try to get a called strike, but right there, I mean, getting the breaking pitches early is going to be key for him here.
Next pitch is inside. Moves it to a hitter's count at 3-1. Castillo hitting .375 on the year for the Lumberjacks, one of their top 3 hitters in the lineup. Just joined the team recently. This is his 3rd game of the summer. 3 hits in his 8 at-bats for that higher average this late in the summer. The 3-1 from O'Byrne. And the big lefty delivers. Outside for ball 4, and it would be the first base runner of the night for the Lumberjacks.
Another note on Castillo, Matt, as he jogs on over to first. 2 home runs in just a few games played. Some of the most impressive offense we've seen from a Lumberjacks player this season, and it has really been a turnaround for Jacob Walker in this last 6-game stretch or so, and one of the biggest catalysts in doing that is Shinar Brown, who digs in here as the cleanup hitter.
As you just mentioned, Dylan, the cleanup hitter. One of the hottest hitters is the lefty pickoff attempt from O'Byrne. Over to Ferraro at first, not nearly in time, so Castillo will just trickle back over there. And Shinar Brown, arguably the best hitter right now from both sides in the lineup, looking for a 7-game hit streak. And in that streak, 7 hits in those 7 games, or in those 6 games, I should say. So he's been on a tear recently for these Lumberjacks. Was the hero the other night when these two played back in Covington in that walk-off win. Pickoff attempt again over at first, but Castillo will get back there easily. Just playing some mind games with the lefty over on the mound. Shinar Brown, 25 hits in his 84 at-bats, 19 RBIs. The 1-0. O'Byrne delivers. Fouls that one off. Just off the cage. And we'll do it again at 1-1.
Last night, Matt, as Castillo stands on first, he had his 2nd homer of that span. Also drove in 4 last night, and Shinar Brown, a bit of a quiet night by his standards, a 1-for-4 performance, dropping his average to, 298.
And there he goes. They're going to get him the lefty pickoff attempt again to throw over the second, and not in time. Ferraro just sailed one over. Thank God Parham was backing up the throw over there, but miscommunication between him and Wynn. So in the book, it will be a stolen base for Castillo, who's able to figure out that lefty move.
That's dangerous, putting a runner in scoring position for Brown.
Robbie Levy behind the plate tonight. As some questionable decisions the other day by the umpire and crew in that game against Staten. As there'll be a tapper back to the mound. O'Byrne has to turn with the body to throw over the first. Will be thrown away. And that's going to allow Castillo to cross the plate first. Shinar Brown is standing up at second base. There'll be an error on the pitcher. And Brown ends up all the way back over on second.
And that's one, Matt, you just need to put in your hip pocket if you're O'Byrne. Throwing over there with it kind of being a tie at the bag at best was already going to be an ill-advised call with the runner rounding in Castillo, and now already a run on the board for Covington here. And, I mean, a team that's won 6 straight, you really don't want to give them momentum right off the bat.
For the Tom Sox in that 11-10 loss, no errors by the defense in that game, despite the result in a loss. Now there's one on the board for them in the top half of the first. That first pitch to Caleb Henry in there for a strike from O'Byrne. Another one of these hard hitters for the Lumberjacks, hitting .266 on the year. Does have 4 home runs for the team. The 0-1 pitch. Swung and missed, strike. Now it'll be 0-2. O'Byrne with this 0-2 count, just got to go right at his hitter here. Brown over on second base. The 0-2 pitch. Just outside for ball 1. Didn't miss by much there, though.
You said it, Matt. That was as close as you're going to get for O'Byrne, and now you got to try to rinse and repeat and almost do that again against Caleb Henry, coming off an off day last night as well.
As someone who used to play Dylan, you just yell at your pitcher at that point. That's a good miss there because you can't frame it any way better if you're Levy. But the 1-2 pitch will be swung on and missed for strike 3. O'Byrne's first strikeout of the night, but 1 run there on an error by the Lumberjacks. They'll have an early lead, but we'll head this one to the bottom of the second. We'll be right back here on Tom Sox TV. Stick and stay with us. Back here on Tom Sox TV, where the Lumberjacks struck early first. They have a 1-0 lead going into the bottom half of the first, but we'll read you this Tom Sox starting lineup. Leading off will be Dean Mijos in left field. Ryan went over at second base. Robbie Levy behind the plate, the catcher. In the 4-hole, Caden Farrar, the first baseman. Colby Wallace, the DH, batting fifth. Johnny Lopez back in the lineup. He's the center fielder, batting sixth. Cooper Blauser, batting seventh over at third. Nick Parham, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Sam Mumma, the 9-hitter. First pitch to Mijos upstairs for ball one. And on the mound for the Lumberjacks, Garrett Darner. Dylan. Darner having a good year so far. 1-1 with a 6.75 ERA. 16 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts. As the first pitch will be lined up the middle for Mijos, and that's going to be an early base hit for the Tom Sox. They'll get the first guy on here.
That's a big hit from Mijos. Mijos' batting average has dropped a little bit to around 217, but it's one of those sneaky batting averages because I feel like Mijos has done a lot more that goes unaccredited. He's driven in 5 runs, but really feels like he works a lot of counts, gets on base. He's worked 7 walks already on the season. Reminder, he's also only appeared in 13 games, one of the fresher faces on this Sox squad, and has a lot of speed, so maybe look for him to run here.
Ryan Wynn now in the second hole, hitting .315 on the year. Set the defense quickly one last time here for the Lumberjacks. Now fielders Thomas Marcella, Caleb Henry, Shinar Brown. Over at first base, Gregory Mello. Gonzalez over at third. Castillo at short. The other Castillo over at second base, and behind the plate, Fabian Amaro. Wynn fouls that one off. So Darner already yielding a base hit to start the game. He's got Wynn in a 1-1 count. Wynn looking for that 24th hit of the summer. This is his 74th at bat. The 1-1 from Darner. Wynn's gonna hit a ground ball, double play ball to the third baseman. Over to second at worst. So first for the double play, that would go 5-4-3. As I stumbled across my words there, Dylan, and won an early double play there for the Jacks.
That's a big break for him after already a lucky break in the first on the E1 that plated one, and now a double play ball there to kind of stymie and get back after the Mijos hit, and it also keeps a runner off the base pass for the most prolific hitter in the Sox lineup and one of the most powerful bats in the entire conference in Robbie Levy.
Levy hitting .316 on the summer. 18 RBIs this season for the Tom Sox. Got no one on base now with the 1-0 count from Darner as he'll foul that one across. We'll be going the 1-1. Home plate umpire tonight, Marshall Wood. Mike Mackey over there at first base. And the third base duties would be Greg John. 2 G's there for Greg for our umpiring crew tonight on a really hot day here in Charlottesville. The 1-1 to Levy outside for ball 2. Levy the other night 1 for 4 with a run and an RBI in that long stand affair. Swung on and missed, and the count will go to 2-2. And the 2-2 with 2 outs from Darner. Just outside and low. So the count will go full with the first full count of the night from both pitching staffs. Caden Ferrara would be on deck. If Levy gets on. Here comes the full count. Outside and up for ball 4, and Levy will draw a walk.
It's a big runner to get back there for the Sox after the double play ball and give Ferraro an opportunity here. Ferraro has been electric since joining the team from Blinn. 8 of 20 on the small sample size, but really strong sample size from the first baseman.
Not only that, Dylan, but also one of those two-way players. Did see a little bit of action from him the other night on the mound in Stanton. But as you just mentioned, a 400 average. One of the best with the team as he'll swing and miss there for strike 1.
I'm surprised they didn't ask you to go pitch at that point. 4.5 hours plus game the other night.
With eight pitchers going for the Tom Sox. The 0-1 count in the dirt. Will be ones across the count now.
Officially scored as the longest contest by time in the Tom Sox history. Thanks to David Argo for that stat.
Great nugget there by Argo, who's been running around all day today. The next pitch from Ferraro will be fouled off and away.
That ball was brought to you by Cho Airport.
As Mike
Wherever
Bolger now
you're
on PA
flying,
today
check
will be
out
reading
Cho
his first Cho
at
Airport
GoCho.com.
foul ball sponsorship. We'd like to shout out Mike, who's doing the other side of the press box tonight. So shout out to Mike. Me and Dylan miss you on this side tonight, but joining new adventures. The 1-2 pitch coming. Ferraro pops it up, but we'll just skip out of here and go foul. 1-2 still. Colby Wallace on deck, who's been raking. Talk about him if he ends up getting up here.
Gotta say as well, Ferraro just has that pop, kind of like Robbie Levy, right off any contact. You start to think, hey, maybe it's got a chance, even when it's going in the wrong direction.
The 1-2 is up and out. 2-2 with 2 outs. One guy on for Covington. Darner on the mound. Gets his sign from Fabian Amaro. The next one will be chopped to the second baseman. That's Castillo. Throwing it over to first, and now we'll retire the side.
In the bottom of the first.
So an early walk, but no runs, no hits to score for the Tom Sox. We'll head back to the bottom, to the top half of the second with the 1-0 lead still belonging to the Jacks. We'll be right back after the break. Bring you back here in the top half of the second. Still 1-0 Lumberjacks lead. If you're just joining us, Dylan Price, Macabrom, here on this call for Tom Sox TV. Leading off this top of the second will be Daniel Restrepo, just joining the team. This is his third game of the summer. Still looking for that first hit in 4 at-bats. And the first pitch from O'Byrne is over the plate for a called strike.
Restrepo, Gonzalez coming from Seminole State, both joining the team. Relatively new Gonzalez. It'll be his 4th game tonight. He's in the on-deck circle.
That one will be fouled off. But Levy couldn't hold the squeeze, but still runs the count to 0-2 as Seven Nation Army blasts in the speaker system. Shout out to Ben Rikosh, our DJ press play today, handling all music here in the ballpark. And the 0-2 from O'Byrne, outside, 1-2. Good 0-2 pitch. Dylan tried to get him to swing on that outside fastball, but very disciplined of Restrepo to hold back. So we'll do it again on 1-2. O'Byrne in the windup. Tried to bounce in a breaking ball there, but couldn't land there. Levy will ask for a brand new ball.
Last time he had that pitch that missed outside in the previous at-bat to end the frame, Caleb Henry, how he struck him out was by going right back to it. I'm surprised he didn't do it again.
The 2-2 inside, almost hit him, but that will run the count full. So now O'Byrne will be dealing with his first full count of the night, and we'll see where he'll place Restrepo. Full count pitch. Upstairs for ball 4. So another walk to the Lumberjacks, and they'll get an early base runner here in the second, Dylan.
And it'll tee up Gonzalez, third baseman tonight, also alongside Restrepo, one of the newcomers mentioned a second ago, but 273 for him. He's 3 for 11. He's scored a run. Has yet to drive in a run, but he's worked 2 walks as well.
Gonzalez, the native of Miami, Florida. First pitch will be a ball. Goes to 1-0. Seminole State College in Oklahoma, the 2 newcomers for Strepo and Gonzalez. On deck would be the catcher, Fabian Amaro. And the pickoff attempt from O'Byrne, but hasn't been able to find out or understand the base runners right now. They've just been taking short leads against him on the early evening.
Second time we've seen O'Byrne get a start against the Lumberjacks this season. Last time was out in Covington. 3 2/3, a run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts for him, and he gets accredited with the win as well because that was a rain-shortened 5-inning game.
Foul ball. Going to run the count to 1-2 to Wilfred Gonzalez, who is handling the third base duties tonight for the Lumberjacks infield. O'Byrne gets his sign from Levy. And the next pitch would be swung on and miss. That'll be a strikeout. O'Byrne's second swinging. Bringing up Fabian Amaro, the catcher.
Now batting number 7.
And I like what Jacob Walker's done here, Matt. You go Restrepo and Gonzalez, Seminole State back-to-back, and then now we'll have Amaro and Castillo potentially, who's in the on-deck circle, from Pasco Hernando. So you get a little back-to-back action here.
Amaro, another Florida native from St. Cloud, Florida. Pickoff attempt from O'Byrne over to Ferraro at first, but still no sign of any attempt. O'Byrne did figure out Carlos Castillo, but Castillo was able to beat the throw from Ferraro going to second. There was miscommunication back in that first, and he ended up being the first base runner of the day. One and 0. And that's going to be a shot in the air to left. Dean Mijos under it by the warning track, and that shade over there makes a leaping catch toward the fence. But treading back to first is Restrepo, and that's a long first out there for O'Byrne.
Now batting.
Want to thank our Oregon player as well. He made the trip tonight. Also Ben Rakash. Really held that one out.
Ben Rakash, one of the best Oregon players in the Valley Baseball League.
I think he might be the only Oregon player in the Valley Baseball League.
As if you're listening to our fans, that is a Oregon there. Can't tell you if he's actually playing on the keys or if that's a soundbite, but who knows? We'll let the fans figure that one out.
You'll have to come to CHS and find out yourself.
Another pickoff attempt from O'Byrne. As they are in the stretch of the season now, a few games past the All-Star break. Teams are fighting for a pennant race here in the Valley Baseball League. The next pitch from O'Byrne breaks just over the head of Dario Castillo. 1-0. With Restrepo still dancing along over at first near Ferraro. Another pickoff attempt again. It looks like the base runners are trying to get under O'Byrne's skin, as it does seem a little bit frustrated over there, keeps starting over. And the next pitch, we fouled off, and that one's headed to the high school parking lot. Dylan, hopefully you're not parked there.
Every time. I knew it as soon as it was off the bat that you were going to make a comment. I'm ways away this time, Matt.
Good.
Last time you and I shared the headset together, I was right there, and it was a little bit touch and go. This time I know I'm safe.
Just making sure
you can make the joke this time.
Just making sure you're not surprised by your souvenir as that breaking pitch is over the plate for a strike. It was the curveball, and it runs it to 1-2 as David Argo, our media director, walks in, probably questioning why he gave me and Dylan an opportunity on the mic, but you know, we're going to surprise him as we always do as he shakes his head and walks away. There goes the pitch. The runner very early, but no throw from Levy. The second stolen base of the night as David Argo now has a fan in my face as, you know, we got to combat these very hot temperatures here down in Charlottesville, Virginia.
You've got fans everywhere, Matt. Now one's even in the booth.
We got the biggest one right behind me holding up the fan for me.
Oh, my gosh.
The 2-2 pitch fouled off away. Castillo. 2-2 with 2 outs. Runner over on second base.
So big pitch coming up here from O'Byrne. Try to get out of the jam and avoid no more runs on the board.
The 2-2 from O'Byrne. Fouled off away, and that one's headed towards the parking lot.
That's another one that he hit his mark. It's just kind of staying alive for Castillo. And also want to try to keep it from going back to the top of the order. Thomas Marsalis stands in the on-deck circle, and we've talked about how dangerous he can be in past games. Haven't talked about it enough tonight. It's still early.
Marsalis hitting .333 on the year. That one's fouled off of Levy's thigh, but the home plate umpire will let him walk and try to make sure he's all good behind the plate. So the umpire's courtesy, he'll go talk out to O'Byrne. Levy seems to be okay as he chit-chats with Dario Castillo up at the plate.
Castillo checking in on him as well.
And there's our first charge by DJ Press Play.
Also, shout out Castillo's chain, Matt.
Iced out, what can I say, Dylan?
It's hanging down there. I'm surprised our home plate umpire,
How's
Marshall Woods, hasn't said anything to put it away yet.
The 2-2 with 2 outs. We'll see it again. And here comes the pitch from the lefty. Fouled off again. That'd be the 4th foul in the at-bat. Still 2-2 on the count. As we have 8 pitches in this at-bat, this would be the 9th one coming.
And that's a big foul again here. Even if this at-bat goes south for Castillo, you've worked this pitch count and worked it in a big way on O'Byrne in the second.
We do it again, outside, and now we'll run full. O'Byrne's second of the inning. So after all that, Castillo able to get him to throw on the outside and try to challenge him, and he was picking up on that one where that was going. So we'll run it full. Runner on second, 2 outs. Here's the 3-2. That's skied in the air to center. Charging his way is Lopez. Back in the lineup and making the grab for the 3rd out of the second.
No runs, no hits.
No runs for the Lumberjacks, but they do strand another on base. We're going into another break here. We'll be right back on Tom Sox TV. Bringing you back on Tom Sox TV. Still a 1-0 lead for those Lumberjacks of Covington. Due up for the Tom Sox this inning will be Kobe Wallace, Johnny Lopez, and Cooper Blauser.
Big part of the order coming up, Matt. We've seen what Wallace can do. We know what Johnny can do. He's done it all season long. And Cooper Blauser, we've gotten a taste of it, 4 of 18.
First pitch upstairs for ball 1. Can't be squeezed by the catcher, Amaro. Wallace hitting .333 on the young summer.
And we're still waiting on that first Colby Jack.
2 doubles, 1 triple, 19 singles as he's going to line another one into the gap, and that's going to get down. Could be extra bases as he's going to wisely stop his turn and stay over at first for his 20th single of the season.
Wallace has been one of the most consistent hitters since his arrival. This is his 17th game, and that his 20th hit now brings him into the 20 club. He joins Ethan Gibson, who has 20, Johnny Lopez, who's at the plate with 23, Wynn, who has 23 as well, and Robbie Levy paces the team with 24. Just behind Wallace now is Jake Books, who will look to try to get into that club at 17, and should see him maybe later in the game.
First pitch to Lopez, swinging and missing for strike one. Lopez missed a few games during the week. Dealt with a little bit of a, I guess you'd say, a sickness, stomach bug going around the Charlottesville area. As we mentioned before the game, one of our board members was dealing with it, so hopefully everyone in the Charlottesville community is not dealing with that anymore. As that one swung on and missed by Lopez again, sends it to 0-2. And when you're losing Johnny Lopez in the lineup, you're losing someone who's hitting near 300, 23 hits on the summer in his 81 at-bats, and has shown the long ball power, Dylan.
He's done it in spades, too. 3 home runs on the season, but more importantly, 15 runs driven in and 4 doubles as well to join those homers.
The 0-2, Lopez is going to sock one here, and it's going to fall for a base hit. So that moves everyone up a base, so Johnny Lopez returns to the lineup, and the Tom Sox have back-to-back singles here with no outs.
He hit it where they ain't. He just kind of blooped it in there, and now a runner in scoring position for Blauser. Blauser mentioned a few minutes ago here, but 4 of 18, a home run, and 7 runs driven in. Blauser joining the team, a son of World Series champion. This is his 7th game of the season.
Blauser had a big blast the other night in Stanton into the trees in their landscape behind the center field wall. There's 2 home runs by the Tom Sox hit the other night. As the first pitch to Blauser is across the plate on the breaking for a strike. These first 2 back-to-back hits to start this inning, both opposite hits for respective batters. Wallace went the opposite way to right field. Lopez opposite to left center, you would say. Now it's 0-1 to Blauser, as Dylan mentioned, hitting .222. And there's the pitch in the dirt, 1-1.
No outs here. Obviously, the goal was to play a few, but even to just provide the equalizer would be huge in this frame. And you've got those 3 outs to work with here. So all you got to do if you're Blauser is just avoid the double play ball. That's got to be the biggest key component of this at-bat.
Darner was able to get a ground ball double play to start the game. That was the 5-4-3 as that one swung and missed. Goes to 1-2. And for Garrett Darner, his last appearance of the summer, pitched 3 innings to give up only 1 run earned, 2 hits, and he got a win credited in that 14-1 win against those Stanton Braves back on the 28th of June. It's a little bit of time off. Back on the mound tonight. Darner's 1-2. Inside the Blauser. And it runs it with a 2-2 count with 2 guys on.
Big pitch coming here from Darner. This is first taste of adversity we're seeing him in this contest after a pretty clean frame. And as you mentioned, really helped by that double play ball from Gonzalez.
The 2-2. Blauser's in a line 1, caught by the second baseman. And the throw over the first is going to get away. And Johnny Lopez is going to trek over to third. So they did get the catch and stepped on second. So it will be a double play. They doubled off Wallace, and they actually attempted a triple play there, Dylan, but that one sailed into, I would say, out of play territory.
Yeah, we almost saw our first triple play of the summer. I mean, that was snared right away at second from Castillo, and then obviously there's a quick step, and Colby Wallace, who didn't have a big lead, was just not a whole lot he can do here. And now I said it was the one thing Blauser couldn't do. And no fault of Blauser. Most of the time, and there's enough of a gap there to sneak it through into the outfield and could have advanced the runners at the least, maybe brought Wallace in, but just some bad luck there. And now Sox sitting with a runner on second and 2 outs.
Brings up Nick Parham, who had 2 hits in that 11-10 loss the other night in Stanton. Brought in a run. Did have a stolen base, too, in that game for his first of the summer. Just hitting under the 200 mark, but a very valuable player in the Tom Sox lineup. Big defensively, as there'll be a mound visit for the Lumberjacks. This will probably be, with the 2 outs, where they want him to at least get out of the inning with some, I guess you would say, a scouting report on Parham.
Yeah, try to avoid allowing any more damage here. He got lucky on that Blauser play from Castillo, and obviously Darner did a great job in approaching that at-bat, but just sometimes it's now how you have to try to settle in here after 3 hard-hit balls and 3 batters faced, and Parham here already tagging a piece of that first pitch, and it just Jacob Walker here trotting out and try to settle him down a little bit, calm him down, and then dial him back into this, try to work out of this frame.
And if it wasn't for that Castillo line out for an assisted double play, Dylan, you could be talking about a different ball game here. It could be 1-1 as that one could have been sailed into the outfield.
And normally we've seen it happen. I mean, even look where Castillo is over at second right now. There's enough of a gap that typically that probably sneaks through, but Castillo just able to kind of take a step, and he was also covering a little shallow there in between that second and, well, second and really, really close to second gap.
The 0-1 to Parham from Darner, and he's going to sock one the other way, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Here comes Lopez. That's going to go all the way to the wall. He's in the score, and Parham is going to stand up with a double. Big hit there, Dylan.
How about that? RBI double from the ECU Pirate, and that's the equalizer, just like that. It was a bad luck kind of play and then a good luck kind of play. He hit it where they weren't, and it was a well-hit ball, and that's 4 hard-hit balls from the Sox, this time driving home a run, though, and now kind of just taking the place of Johnny Lopez, runners in scoring position again for Mumaw.
Since this is around, the Euros and the world of soccer, Dylan, you'd say this game is leveled now.
Big soccer guy.
Oh, yeah, big. Now with that being leveled, brings up Sam Mumaw as he'll take a first pitch ball into the dirt.
Mumaw, 10 hits on the campaign. He's driven in 9 runs, more than capable of bringing home 1 for Parham. That's his 8th ribby of the season.
Parham has been on a tear recently. Not too long ago in that dominant game in Waynesboro, a big bases clearing triple. Those at-bats like that brings back a lot of guys' confidences throughout the summer. That one just out a little too high, moves it to 2-0.
And that was a pretty piece of hitting from Parham. And now that for Darner is 4 hard hit balls, like I mentioned, he got to just try to avoid another one here to Mumaw, and most importantly, avoid sending it back to the top of the order. And Mijos already has a hit on him tonight.
And now Mumaw grounds him out to the second baseman, and now we'll retire the side. Well, Dylan, I was going to say before we ended here, all 5 hits for the Tom Sox, regardless of the outs or not, all go in the opposite field. So, pretty cool thing to see there. But the Tom Sox do tie it up. Be 1-1 here. We'll be back here on Tom Sox TV. Back here on Tom Sox TV, where the Tom Sox recently leveled this game at 1. Bringing back the top of the order for the Lumberjacks. Thomas Marsala, 0 for 1 with a pop out to the second baseman Wynn back in his first at-bat. Since giving up that run, O'Byrne seemed to be a little bit calm now on this mound. Getting his second strikeout back in the second as Marsala's going to pop one up here again. Blauser trying to track it over in foul territory, and he makes the catch. Good outstretched run there by Blauser in foul territory, watching his surroundings with the gate, and squeezes away for the first out.
Avoids running into the light pole, most importantly there, and able to reel it in. I still think the most impressive play we've seen from a third baseman. I would give that second on the season, tracking a foul ball. Most impressive is Brett Weringer of the Harrisonburg Turks, hurdling the wall over there, fence over there, into the CHS median. Did not make the catch, but still the most impressive thing I've seen this season.
Chopper here by Mello, handled easily by Parham and thrown over to first. There's 2 outs on 2 back-to-back pitches. And that brings up the 3-hitter Carlos Castillo.
Now batting.
And after we saw a couple batters really work long at bats, Matt, that's a nice way to settle back in. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and for Gregory Mello, that's back-to-back ground outs, both by way of Nick Parham.
It's going to bring up the 3-hitter Castillo, as I just mentioned. Walked that first at bat. Technically got a stolen base after figuring it out. The pickoff attempt by O'Byrne. That one's ball 1. The lefty's delivery to the plate on the inside corner for a strike.
Last time Castillo walked, stole a base, came around to score. That was the run in the top of the first, and has us evened up at 1 apiece.
Castillo's going to foul one over the shed over on the first base side, and now O'Byrne with a 1-2 count with a chance to get out of this inning on 1 pitch right here. Shnar Brown on deck hitter. In the hole is Caleb Henry. Pitch is in the dirt. That brings it to a 2-2 count.
And Levy doesn't need to stress himself with nobody on. He can take a beat, take a step back, and even in O'Byrne's case, resettle.
If you just saw the bottom of our screen, Trevor Booten, who's been that foul ball when he's on the lineup, that's going to be sailed right to win, squeezed away for the 3rd out. So 1-2-3 inning for Palmer O'Byrne.
No runs.
Makes this a quicker inning, and we'll be right back again heading into the bottom of the 3rd. Your Tom Sox will be due back up. This game is still tied. We'll be back here on Tom Sox TV. Bringing it back here on Tom Sox TV, where the Tom Sox tied it the last time they were up. Bringing it back up, Dean Mijos, who led off the game with a quiet RBI, a quiet single up the middle, I should say, on that one for his 11th hit of the year. But after that, the on-deck hitter Ryan Wynn, who's due up next, grounded into that early 5-4-3 double play. The Chanticleer hitting .217 on the year, which had his 11th hit of the season. And his first pitch you'll see from Darner is upstairs, almost hit him for ball 1.
Enough to whistle by him, and for Mijos, it raises his OBP that has been really strong, and kind of mentioned his last time up that his batting average is a little deceptive.
He's in a line one here, grounded. Castillo over the first, and getting it back on first to hold the base was Mello. That would be a 6-3 ground ball for the first out of the inning.
Number 2, Ryan Wynn.
Bringing up Ryan Wynn in this lineup. Wynn, who's had hits a lot recently, and recorded hitting that 16-4 win against the Generals back on July 5th, and his last game held hitless was back on June 22nd, Dylan, against the Braves. As he's going to hit one there, and that's going to be through, and that's technically, could be a base hit there. That's going to be lined for a base hit, as it was a tough play by the second baseman, Castillo. So Wynn, 3-game hitting streak. Hits now safely in
Now up, number 30.
4 of the last 5, and if you're really technical with it, 4 of the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 7 games, Dylan. So, Wynn with a lot of hitting streaks throughout this young season.
He's rattled off a 8-game hit streak at best on the season and said it was really just the culmination of things starting to click coming out of his season at Wofford as well.
Robbie Levy's first pitch outside called for a strike. Garner able to get a first pitch strike to Levy, who's been on a tear recently since being back in the Tom Sox order. Swung and missed there, and it goes to 0-2.
Went fishing for that pitch and kind of tried to reach out almost too much. If he had made contact, it wasn't going to be solid. So kind of just a decent break for Levy there regardless. But now in an 0-2 hole.
0-2 pitch. Down and a low, and that'll be the first ball of the count.
Levy worked that walk the first time up. And almost would have operated with a runner on, be it not for the double play ball. So now first time Levy will dig in with a runner on tonight.
And now the 1-2 is going to be a ground ball, could be a double play. Tag over there at first and throws it away. So now Levy, that's going to be a dead ball. So Levy will get second base. They're able to get Wynn via tag.
Now up, number 35, Caden
So,
Ferraro.
some confusion here, but I think Ryan Wynn is arguing that he wasn't tagged. So Randy Tomlin will be arguing with second base umpire. This is a little weird, Dylan, because if Wynn wasn't tagged, and they're going to say originally on the call that he was out, and Levy gets second on the throwing error, then technically Wynn would be placed on third if the crew can talk here and determine if he was non-tagged.
He'd be placed on third, and really great spot then for Caden Ferraro, who would dig in and mention the success he's had on the season. But this is where the VBL needs that replay review, get to go to New York. But ultimately they didn't need New York. They just needed Mike Mackey, Greg John, and Marshall Woods to come together, and call will remain as Wynn's out.
So Wynn out, shaking his head saying he wasn't touched, but that would be the second out of the inning. Randy Tomlin over at third. Tried to get that argument. Who did win an appeal the other night back in Stanton. And we got Kenny Towns over at first for the team. Now with Levy on second with 2 outs, brings back up Caden Ferraro, who takes it outside for ball 1.
There's a big at-bat for Ferraro here. See if we can spark some 2-out offense if you're him. Got to be the headspace here and have that runner in scoring position and try to drive him home, or at the very least keep this inning alive.
The 1-0, Ferraro fouls that one over the bleachers on the left side. 1-1 count.
How about Darner here, though? A couple good breaks. That tag on Wynn and then a double play ball earlier has really put him in a nice spot. And even a double play ball in the inning prior that really limited the damage.
2 double plays for the Lumberjacks defense, 1-1 pitch. Swung on a miss, strike 2. And now, as Dylan mentioned, Gardner has a opportunity here to get away from this inning despite the error. And a runner on second base. Gardner looks into Amaro. Gets his sign on the mound. And the pitch. Fouled and away. Headed towards the parking lot. And that brings it back again at 1-2.
Ferraro going to stay alive in the at-bat. On deck circle, Kobe Wallace, who singled to lead off the second.
Tom Sox going to use another single here. Try to get back, take an early lead in this game. The 1-2 pitch. Down low. Good eye there by Ferraro to not bite for a golf swing. And brings it to a 2-2 count.
Good job by Ferraro. He's even the count, but still got work to do to stay alive.
There'll be a timeout axed by Ferraro, as the umpire will signal it. The new rule of baseball now, Dylan, where you got to remind the umpires when you're going to use your timeout in the at-bat to combat the pitch clock. 2-2 from Darner set to go. The righty deals. Upstairs, now runs it full.
And that's a big pitch for Ferraro to get here. A lucky break for him, and the counts worked full. And kudos to Ferraro. Has hung in there, fouled off a few, and this is turned back into an even playing field for a big payoff pitch.
The full count, and Ferraro's going to pop it up. Under it is the left fielder, Marsala, who puts it away at the end of the inning.
After 3 innings, Tom Sox won.
Tom Sox made some noise, but no runs to come across till a 1-1 game. Dylan Price will be taking the reins of play-by-play when we come back from the break. We'll be right back here on Tom Sox TV.
Top of the fourth here from Willie T. Barnett Field. Dylan Price, Matt Cabram got you covered for all the action on Tom Sox TV. Good evening to you. If you're not here with us at the ballpark, well, thanks for hanging with us on Tom Sox TV. Nice crowd here tonight at the ballpark. Really nice gathering up on top of the hill above left field. And a nice pack house in the bleachers as well. O'Byrne remains on in the start. Fires first offering to Shinar Brown outside for ball number 1. 1-1 your score as we march on into the fourth. A run plated from the Lumberjacks in the top of the first, and then a bottom of the second run from the Sox. Got on and missed from Shinar Brown. Count will go even at 1 apiece as O'Byrne, the New York native, remains on in the outing. Second start against the went chasing at his first strike and did the same on the second, and the count will go even at 2 apiece. So Byrne looks down to Robbie Levy, who remains in doing the catching. Kicks the leg and fires the 2-2. Jams up Brown. He fouls it off in the fencing just by the Sox dugout. And as O'Byrne continues on, no movement in the Sox pen right now, but some movement in Covington's. Darner's done a solid job in the start for them, despite a few hard-hit balls. The 2-2 to Brown from O'Byrne. Went fishing for it. Didn't catch anything. Strike 3, first out here in the top of the fourth.
And that's a massive out for O'Byrne, getting Shinar Brown to swing and chase. Easy first out there, and for the Lumberjacks, it's number 22, Kevin Rodriguez, warming up in the bullpen. So could be the end soon for Darner's night on their opposition side.
First pitch to Henry, called strike 1 right down the pipe, as Darner's allowed just a run over the 3 frames thus far, but 5 hits. He's allowed at least 1 hit in every frame thus far pitched. Inside pitch lands. It's a quick 0-2 count on Henry. Henry's first time up, struck out swinging. That strikeout to Brown was his 3rd strikeout. The 0-2 from O'Byrne. There's his 4th. Retires Henry on strikes for the 2nd time tonight, and back-to-back Ks has us sitting at 2 outs here in the top of the 4th.
And even you go back down to the strikeout to Shinar Brown,
Restrepo.
For O'Byrne, he was able to put himself in a position where he was able to test out 2 breaking pitches, both missed, and was able to go back and fight at Brown for that first strikeout. And Caleb Henry, all right down the middle, or at least near the plate for him to swing and chase, and he went at him and gets 2 in a row to start this inning.
Restrepo's first offering from O'Byrne outside for ball 1, way outside and low. O'Byrne going to look to dial back in here and face Restrepo, who he walked first time he saw him tonight. Second pitch to Restrepo, high for a ball 2, so Restrepo quickly ahead 2-0. Restrepo, one of 3 base runners allowed for O'Byrne tonight. O'Byrne allowing a walk that would come around to score on an error. This time the third pitch lands for strike 1. 2-1, 2 outs as O'Byrne marches on in the start. We've seen him go beyond the third a handful of times on the season to start. The 2-1. Called strike 2, almost the exact same pitch and the exact same result. And the count now even at 2 apiece with 2 outs here. O'Byrne trying to strike out the side. The 2-2 with 2 outs. The New York native denies the first offering from Levy. Now readies the 2-2 incoming. Breaks over the heart of the plate, but just misses by a hair.
Well, Dylan, I call that one another great miss for O'Byrne. Got the call what he wanted, but good discipline there for the hitter to leave it in the hands of the umpire.
Payoff pitch from O'Byrne. Cut on and miss strike 3. Palmer O'Byrne fans the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. After O'Byrne dazzles, we head to the bottom of the 4th here on Tom Sox TV. Palmer O'Byrne strikes out the side and tees up the Tom Sox bats as we rejoin you in the bottom of the 4th, knotted up at 1 apiece here on Tom Sox TV. Dylan Price, Mac Abram, welcome you back in to all the action here at Willie T. Barnett Field. It's Gobi Wallace, Johnny Lopez, and Cooper Blauser due up for the Sox. Since allowing that first run in the top of the 1st, O'Byrne has not allowed a run here into the bottom of the 4th. Wallace digs in, and first pitch to him outside, way outside, bounces off the cage. Lopez will shag it and throw it back to the dugout. It's a 1-0 count. Darner remains on in the outing, although Rodriguez warms in the pen for the Lumberjacks. The 1-0 to Wallace is high, ball 2. It was this part of the order last time that plated the first run for the Sox. Wallace singled, Lopez singled, and a hard line out from Blauser stymied the offense from there, but Parham would drive in at least a run on that RBI. Could have been more as Wallace looped it down the third base side. And you know it was Darner who was saying at least it was just a run after a 4 hard-hit ball streak before he would work out of that jam.
Almost 5 with the Muma ground out. I mean, the Tom Sox bats were all over Darner back in the second inning. As you mentioned earlier, Wallace was the catalyst to start that scoring opportunity for them in the bottom half of the second.
2-1, Wallace bites on it. Count goes even at 2 apiece. Wallace 333 on the season, 10 ribbies, 10 walks. Mentioned he singled. He's the designated hitter tonight for Randy Tomlin. The 2-2 to Wallace. Bounces in the dirt. It was short of the mound. and the count goes full. So Wallace trying to tee up Lopez with a runner on here for the second time tonight. Lopez scored the lone run for the Sox tonight, advanced on an error.
His last full count was to Levy, who ended up getting on via Wheeler's choice and an error.
The 3-2 misses outside, so Colby Wallace works a 6-pitch walk. He trots on over to first, and with no outs, Johnny Lopez will work with a runner on.
And Lopez coming up, who had a great piece of hitting back in his first at-bat, lined it the opposite field to the left center field gap. And that was when the Tom Sox were in business with the first two guys on, and he looks to continue that fade again here, Dylan.
And this will be where Darner's night comes to an end. Jacob Walker comes out to make the pitching change. George Rodriguez will come in just a moment. Rodriguez, this would be just his second appearance. They'll let him take his time, and we will allow him to take his time to warm up. Darner comes out, Rodriguez comes in, and we will step aside here on Tom Sox TV. Kevin Rodriguez is in to pitch as Garrett Darner's night has come to a conclusion. His line not final. We get it to you in the top of the fifth, or at least when it closes. Instead, it's Kevin Rodriguez, not George Rodriguez. The Rodriguez brothers, both hailing from Atlantis University, will allow Rodriguez to fire in his first offering to Lopez as this is lashed into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Wallace will pump the brakes at second, and now there'll be runners on first and second with no outs here in the bottom of the fourth. But, Matt, what do you got on Kevin Rodriguez?
For Rodriguez, third appearance of the summer, second one against the Tom Sox. The last one was he went in a third of an inning against the Tom Sox in that 7-6 walk-off win back on July 3rd. And for the Tom Sox side of it, almost a carbon copy of the second inning if Wallace continued it with a single. But nonetheless, the first two guys going for the Tom Sox, and they're back in business here, Dylan, in the bottom of the fourth.
Rodriguez looks down to Blauser. He'll now work out of the stretch with the runner on in Wallace at second, and now Lopez at first after the single. A single and a walk is the offense for the Tom Sox as Rodriguez, a little bit of a sidewinder, whips it in outside for ball one. Blauser, his first time up, lined out into a double play. Hard hit ball, though, from Blauser, who's now 4 of 19 on the season. Jacksonville State transfer, settling in with the Sox. The 1-0 from Kevin Rodriguez, who takes a look at Colby Wallace. Over at first, does a double take, winds, fires, whips it in for a called strike one. Count even at one apiece. And it is truly a whip in, not necessarily a sidewind, as he kind of just flips the wrist and throws it in there, almost like a Patrick Mahomes-esque throw. The 1-1 as Rodriguez stares at second and Wallace. Fires, Blauser shows bunt. Pitch going to be a called strike two. Late call there from our home plate umpire Marshall Woods, but we'll deem it a strike two. So it's a 1-2 count, no outs, 2 on. As Blauser tried to pull back on the bunt, but to no avail. Now Blauser keeping the bat at the shoulder. No real big lead from Wallace or Lopez here. With no outs in the bottom of the fourth. Evened up at one apiece. The 1-2 to Blauser sails high for ball two. Elevated way high towards the tail end there, and that's kind of that whip motion again. That's kind of the game you play with there. It can sail off the fingertips sometimes, as it does there for Kevin Rodriguez. Rodriguez stares down. Looks at Blauser. Now we'll throw on over to second, try to catch Colby Wallace off guard, but Castillo was covering, and will apply the tag, but Wallace was back safely.
Good attempt there as Wallace was kind of streaking over, but that throw almost sailed into the center field where Wallace probably would have extended his lead over to third.
Blauser readies for the 2-2 with 2 on. No outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Blauser cut on and missed, and Kevin Rodriguez, after allowing a base hit, dials back in with his first strikeout of the outing.
First strikeout of the summer, too, for Rodriguez, as both his appearances only went in third twice, and 2 wins technically, so the 2 times he's pitched this year ended up being wins for the Lumberjacks. And that last time out against the Tom Sox, Dylan gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, they were all earned, walked 3 guys, and only faced 6 batters, so not a long chain so far this summer for Rodriguez, but he gets a big first strikeout of the summer and probably will boost some confidence there.
After a double that scored the 1 run thus far for the Sox, Nick Barham digs in. First pitch to him, a called strike one. Didn't love it. He'll operate with 2 on and an out here. Colby Wallace, his ECU teammate, stands at second after a walk, and he advanced on the single from Johnny Lopez. It's a 1-1 ball game as Barham digs in and sets to face Rodriguez for the first time tonight. Face Darner his first time up. Barham cuts on the second offering, won't connect, and the count goes to 0-2. In the on-deck circle, it's Sam Mumal as we march into the bottom of the order here in the bottom of the fourth. Sox have threatened thus far. Rodriguez shakes off the first sign from Amaro. Now likes the second. He stares down over to second at Wallace again. He's already thrown over once. Rodriguez winds, fires, and that plunks Parham, and that's going to load the bases for Sam Mumal. So a walk, a single, and a hit by pitch. Mix in a strikeout in there, but the Sox have the bases loaded for the bottom of the order here in the Florida Gator and Sam Mumal.
For Mumal, it'd be pretty big here. He already has 9 RBIs on the season. And what's a great stat without adding more, Dylan, he has a big opportunity here to not only score more for himself, but also to help out the Tom Sox here with the potential go-ahead run over 90 feet away.
Mumal readies for the first offering from Rodriguez. The Florida natives clash here with the bases loaded and an out. Rodriguez first offering, misses outside for ball 1. So in Rodriguez's case, he inherits the runner from Wallace. That would be accredited to Darner. For Lopez and Parham, that will be accredited to Rodriguez. Some housekeeping for you, those scoring at home. The 1-0 incoming from Rodriguez. He kicks the leg, fires, and this is going to sneak over beneath the legs. They'll get 1 out, and they'll try to turn 2, and they will. Heck of a way to work out of a jam for Kevin Rodriguez. A hard-hit ball that just sneaks through the legs of Johnny Lopez, and they'll go 6-4-3 to end the frame. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We head to call it 2 men left on base, thanks to Russ from Point Streak for our stat correction there as we head to the top of the 5th, still even at 1 apiece here on Tom Sox TV.
On Apple, Spotify.
Palmer O'Byrne continues on in the start. After allowing a run in the top of the 1st, he's blanked the Lumberjacks the rest of the way thus far as we march on into the top of the 5th. Here on Tom Sox TV, Dylan Price, Matt Cabram, guiding you through all the action on this gorgeous Tuesday evening. 8:10 the time here at Willie T. Barnett Field as we march into this 5th frame, still even at 1 apiece. First offering skied high into center field. Lopez back step, and will corral in Wilfred Gonzalez's fly ball for out number 1. It was 3 straight strikeouts for O'Byrne to retire the side in the 4th. He has settled in nicely, Matt. His longest start of the season was 5 frames, and now trying to tie that tonight.
Yeah, for O'Byrne, his longest start as you mentioned, 5 1/3 back on June 19th against the Culpeper Cavaliers. That was a 4-3 win. Although he was not credited with the win, he pitched really good that night, only giving up 1 run that was earned, only 2 hits that night. So you would say right now, Dylan, if this continues, it'd be just, if not his best start, honestly. He did give up a run here early, and after that he's been lights out. He has 5 total strikeouts. He had 3 in a row to retire the side back in the top half of the 4th, and this is the O'Byrne show right now. He's been controlling this game for the Tom Sox.
After a cold strike and a foul ball from Fabian Amaro, count quickly 0-2. O'Byrne, he's fanned 5 tonight, looking for the 6th. The 0-2 with an out. O'Byrne kicks the leg, fires inside for ball 1. So Amaro, as it whistles just about an arm's length away from his jersey, will take a deep breath, then dial back in. It's the navy blue jerseys with the turquoise lettering for the Lumberjacks. This one breaks over the heart of the plate. 6th strikeout of the night for Palmer O'Byrne. Burn, baby, burn, as O'Byrne continues on in the outing.
Gotta love that one there, Dylan. Burn, baby, burn. But for him, burns it by the hitter. His first strikeout look of the night, and it's the victim of Fabian Amaro.
6th K of the night, as O'Byrne has dealt since allowing a run in the 1st. He has put on a clinic, and there is some movement in the Sox pen, some long toss. But for now, this is Palmer O'Byrne's show. With 2 outs, digging in is the 9-hole hitter, and Dariel Castillo, who smacks this into center field. And outstretched Nick Parham, the shortstop, tried to see if he could lunge out and get it, but a hard hit ball will drop right in front of Johnny Lopez for a 2-out single, and the Lumberjacks will tee up at the top of the order.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number
And
10, Thomas.
For the Lumberjacks, that's their first hit of the night. So, yeah, now in the book, that's their first hit of the night. So for O'Byrne, his first hit in quite some time. So
1-0 incoming here.
as the only base runners before that were just 2 walks from O'Byrne back in the 1st.
Checking in here with some clerical discussions in our press box.
Yeah, it is their first hit of the night. The only 2 other base runners were the walk to Castillo back in the 1st, and he ended up scoring. That was an error. And then
1-0 incoming here.
So that is the correct thing. It is their first hit of the night, as Russ from Point Streak's there to back me up, so I'm not sounding like I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Russ.
The 1-1, Marsala digs in with one on and 2 outs. Throw over from O'Byrne. He checks in here. And now it's 1-1, 2 outs. Marsala will set to dig back in here, and the throw over here, ball went errant, so Jake Books will come out and retrieve it. An off night for Books tonight, at least so far. O'Byrne readies the 1-1 incoming here to Marsala. Marsala has flown out, hasn't actually gotten out of the infield thus far. He flew out to second and then fouled out to third, and Blauser runner is going. They catch him in a pickle, and that is that. Parham applies the tag, and that's the end of the frame. So after the first hit of the night for the Lumberjacks, the game will stay tied 1 apiece as we head to the bottom of the 5th here on Tom Sox TV. Back at you in the bottom of the 5th, and it's the top of the order for the Tom Sox. Dean Mijos, Ryan Wynn, and Robbie Levy do up, as myself, Dylan Price, and Matt Cabram guide you through the contest. Bottom of the 5th, evened up at 1 apiece. Sox trying to break the tie as they head back to Mijos, who had the first hit in the contest for either side. To lead things off in the bottom of the 1st, Jacob Walker and Randy Tomlin. Some discussion just short of the third base side as Kevin Rodriguez continues on in relief here of Garrett Darner. First pitch to Mijos inside for a ball 1. Darner's line closed, allowing a run unearned with 6 hits and 4 innings pitched in the start. Piloting the Lumberjacks through 4, it's Kevin Rodriguez who worked out of a bases-loaded jam as this nearly gets a piece of Mijos. Mijos just kind of stepping out as it kind of whipped around him. And now it's a 2-0 count, no outs. Here, leading off things in the bottom of the 5th. Mijos singled, as I mentioned in the first, and grounded out last time up. This one breaks over the heart of the plate and lands on its mark. So it's a 2-1 count as Amaro framed it up nice, and Rodriguez drops it in a bucket.
Rodriguez came in a very tough situation, but got out of it with a few pitches with that 6-4-3 double play, and see if he can get settled in here, Dylan.
2-1 to Mijos as it's outstretched and cut out and missed. Count goes even at 2 apiece with no outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Even at 1 apiece, Mijos looks for the sign from Rodriguez, or the pitch from Rodriguez. Amaro looks for the sign. Mijos smacked into left field. It's going to drop down for Dean Mijos' second hit of the night. And leading things off in the bottom of the 5th, Sox will get a runner on as Mijos trots on over to first.
And for the Tom Sox 7th hit of the night. Another one of those singles, and we'll see if they get another rally here. Mijos, the last time he led off with a single. The Lumberjacks had a big double play ball, so we'll see if the Tom Sox can avoid that. With Wynn stepping in, looking for his second hit of the night.
Lumberjacks winners 7-2 last night against Culpeper. Vaults the win streak to 6 games for Covington. Mijos at first. First pitch to Wynn. High outside for ball 1. Wynn singled his last time up and grounded into a double play his first time up. So now both Wynn and Mijos have a hit tonight. Mijos 2 of them. Mijos stands at first. The throw over is not going to connect. It's going to pull away, and Mijos is racing past second. Now over to third. The throw eventually corrals in over by the Sox pen, and Mijos races all the way from first to third, and the speedy Coastal Carolina outfielder will stand 90 feet from home with no outs here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, Mijos always playing those mind games over there. Does have the speed, and he got Rodriguez to bite on the bait. And now he ends up on third base, and no outs here, and the Tom Sox are in all control here of this one.
Mijos represents the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 5th. And Ryan Wynn, who's driven in 12 on the season, this would be his 13th. If he can bring him home. First pitch to Wynn, breaks outside for ball 1. Wynn will offer Terrier, it's a 1-1 count now after the throw over to first in between the AB. It's 1-1 to Wynn. Wynn smacked, foul, down the first base side, way foul. And the count goes to 1-2 with Mijos threatening.
For the Lumberjacks, 3rd error of the night. 4 total in this game, with 1 going to the Tom Sox side not too long ago.
Rodriguez doesn't like the first 2 signs from Amaro, likes the third, the 1-2 incoming to Wynn with Mijos at third. It misses outside and in the dirt. Amaro able to glove it before it gets far as Mijos hopping around over there like the Energizer Bunny, waiting for his opportunity to try to race home. Rodriguez looks to Mijos, now kicks the leg, slowly winds, fires, Wynn slapped into left center. It is just going to drop down for a base hit. Mijos will trot across home, and Ryan Wynn with his 13th RBI of the season drives in Mijos to make this a 2-1 ball game.
25 hits, Dylan, on the summer, 13 RBIs as Wynn's campaign. It just gets better and better by each game, and he's just stayed hot now, back-to-back multi-hit games. And that's now a total of 5 hits in the last 3 games for Mr. Wynn.
No movement in the Lumberjacks pen, so Kevin Rodriguez will continue on with no outs here, and now the runner on, and the Sox leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Levy digs in, first time seeing Rodriguez, first pitch to him, outside for ball 1. Rodriguez coming in relief of Darner, as we mentioned. Darner allowing just 1 run unearned through 4 innings pitched. Rodriguez, that's his first allowed run. The 1-0, Levy, check swing, got him to go, and the count goes even to 1 apiece. So Wynn looks for the sign from the pen, or from the dugout, excuse me. The 1-1 to Levy. Levy lashed into right field, hanging in the sky as Shinar Brown won't even have to move to reel it in. Levy got all that baseball, but it just hung in the sky. It drops down into Shinar Brown's glove, and we'll have 1 out here with 1 on in the bottom of the 5th.
Number 35.
Levy, had a good stroke on it, but Shinar Brown, as you mentioned, positioned himself very well in the scouting report, and he had to take no steps to catch that ball. It went right to him, and also the effort from the throw back in. He just slung that in and had all that power getting back to the infield.
Ferraro digs in. 8 of 22 on the season for the Blue Buccaneer. First pitch called strike 1. Ferraro, a short sample size for the Sox. The 0-1 inside for ball 1. So an update here for you. I want to thank our SID junior, Ben Rakash. Helps out our David Argo. Ben, a outstanding SID junior. He coined the term, not me, I promise. He did have a great note for us here, though, as the second strike called here. It's a 1-2 count. The lights have not turned on here at CHS, and there is an operational issue, so if they can't get them on, this game will be concluded. The second time I've seen that happen before. Last summer happened at a AAA ballpark. It happens everywhere, Matt. Sometimes the lights just don't light.
Yeah, looking for the power source as unable to do that, so the umpires will halt for a second and discuss as we're losing daylight here, so this conversation's going to run more of it out the way.
And now, unfortunately, this is the problem. The debate's gotten to a point where is it still fully visible? From our vantage point, obviously, it's a little bit easier, but now Randy Tomlin and Jacob Walker are going to come out to have these deliberations. I'm thinking we need everybody's cars. You need to just park a few in the outfield, do what you need to do here, and so turning the lights on, and maybe the Tom Sox will reimburse you for gas. Probably don't need that. We're not promising anything, folks. But the debate is going on here at CHS about whether or not this game can continue. The Lumberjacks defense is coming off the field, and there's a deliberation as Mike Mackey, our first base umpire, he went to get some water, but Greg John and Marshall Davis, or Marshall Woods, excuse me, are having the deliberation here.
So here goes David Argo,
our board representative and media director, and our SID, David Argo, trots out there to have the deliberation with Randy Tomlin as they try to figure out a solution here. And now the entire outfield has come in for the Lumberjacks. Shinar Brown was the last representative for the Jacks to make his trot in. And with the deliberation continuing on, a couple Lumberjacks will maintain out here for just a moment as they continue to deliberate. Matt, here's what we've seen thus far. The Lumberjacks plating a run in the top of the first. It happened after no hits, a walk, an error, and eventually Carlos Castillo would come around to score. In the bottom of the second, the Sox would plate one. A pair of singles, an error, and a double from Nick Parham would be how they would do it. And then here in the bottom of the fifth, the Sox have broken through with a couple hits to drive home a run. Ryan Wynn, a RBI single, brought around Dean Mijos, who singled to lead off this frame. Robbie Levy flew out, and then in the middle of Caden Ferraro's at-bat, it just seemed like visibility was becoming an issue, and now the deliberation will continue on. So with that deliberation continuing on, we'll step aside here on Tom Sox TV, hopefully to update you with the game continuing on, but if not, we'll give you a little bit of an abbreviated post-game show. Stick and stay on Tom Sox TV.
Matt Cabram, Dylan Price back here. Don't know really where we're going with this one. They're still deliberating the lighting situation.
Our home plate umpire, Marshall Woods, continues to guide the show here. Mike Mackey, Greg John as well, part of the discussion going on here. Jacob Walker and Randy Tomlin join two members of our Tom Sox board as the deliberation continues. So here's kind of where it stands. We're through technically 4 1/3 of the contest. Can't call it, we're through 4.5 innings. And we're really through 1/3 of this bottom of the 5th. So on a technicality, I don't know if you can call this. So I believe the deliberation is now, do we continue on with this game? Do you finish out the 5th, make it an official ball game? But technically with the Sox leading, you could call it now. It's a matter of light. It's a race against daylight, and we're burning it right now with the deliberations down on the third base line. But on the same stretch of things, if this game would be called, the score would hold 2-1. The Covington win streak that is at 6 games going into tonight would be snapped. I do also believe there's a attempt to get the lights back on going on right now. As we've talked about before, this happens. It's a frequent issue. I've seen it last summer. An infrequent issue that just sometimes happens when thousands upon thousands of baseball games get played across the country each and every summer. And sometimes the lights just don't want to light.
Yeah, and for us, that's what hurts everything here at CHS, and it'd be the second time this week if they were to call this game during the 5th for the Tom Sox. They would have 2 games end via rain delay, or obviously for this, it should be an operational error from the ballpark. So it'd be 2 games within a week playing 5 innings or less, but
I'll do you one better. 2 of the last 3 times then that the Covington Lumberjacks and Sox have faced off, it would be an abbreviated game. These two just can't seem to play a full 9. Our 2 board members are back out. The umpires will continue to deliberate, and Randy Tomlin and Jacob Walker are, I think at this point, making late dinner plans and joking around as the discussion continues on of how to resolve the situation, as Matt Cabram has a note.
Dylan for the Covington Lumberjacks and the Tom Sox both off tomorrow, so if this one is not deemed playable but also not deemed a full 5 with the technicality of us not finishing this bottom half of the 5th, you maybe could see this game be back on tomorrow. That is what's it called? I guess
it's an option. It's an alternative if you have to go to it here. But the other stretch here is that Covington Lumberjacks have a 2-hour bus ride, and obviously it
would hurt to do it again back-to-back days.
And it's ironically the same situation we kind of ran into the last time that there was a shortened game with Covington. We were out in Covington, and the debate was, can we get a full 5 innings in so that this game is technically official, so that the teams don't have to burn the gas money to do a 2-hour trip again? Teams love playing each other, but clearly can't play a full 9. Deliberations continue. Matt Cabram and I will step aside yet again. We'll hope to get you an update the next time we come back, but we said that the first time, so stick and stay with us on Tom Sox TV. And that is that, folks. 2-1 the score at the time of suspension. We'll have more details to come on whether or not this will be a ruled official game or if the Lumberjacks will take the 2-hour track out to Charlottesville again for this game to conclude. 2-1 your score, and here's how it happened. In the top of the first, the Lumberjacks would plate one on a pair of walks and an error. The Tom Sox would strike back in the bottom of the second, a pair of singles from Kobe Wallace and Johnny Lopez. An error would allow runs to score. Nick Parham would drive home the one run. There was a double play line out. A lot of hard hit balls, though, for the Sox in there. On a night the Sox were able to have, all things considered, 8 hits through 5 frames. Some quick math for you here on Tom Sox TV. They'd plate the second run here in the bottom of the 5th. Otherwise, we'd go scoreless through a few. For Palmer O'Byrne, it was 5 scoreless frames with 6 strikeouts on the evening. Just 1 hit in the performance as well. A stellar outing from the New York native. If things do hold, this would be the second shortened victory for Palmer O'Byrne on the season, obviously, and that being against the Covington Lumberjacks the first time he pitched against them. But obviously, as I mentioned, more details still to come on whether or not this will be ruled an official game.
A shortened win and a shortened complete game for O'Byrne if that is going to be deemed the full contest, but we will get the word officially in on. You can follow along with that all on our social medias here.
More updates coming at you on the Tom Sox social medias. 2 hits for Dean Mijos, 2 hits for Ryan Wynn. Mijos would score a run. Wynn would drive home a run. 2 times reaching base for Colby Wallace, 2 singles for Johnny Lopez, a double from Nick Parham, and that's how 2 runs would come across the board for the Sox in the contest. Palmer O'Byrne was stellar. Sox plate 2. They lead 2-1 as things stand with a 1-2 count on Caden Ferraro with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. We'll get you all the details on our Tom Sox social media. With all that said, I guess we say goodnight. The lights are out here at CHS, so the lights will go out on our broadcast as well. For Matt Cabram, for our entire team here at Tom Sox TV, I'm Dylan. Have a good night.
It honestly was like a fade into